Tell them what you did. I went to bed. And when did you go to bed? After the 7th inning. Oh, and why? I thought the game was over. Hi, I'm Weston. I love talking about the Astros, and I'm here to talk about Game 33 of the regular season, where the Astros lose 7-5 to the Seattle Mariners after a disaster 8th inning by the bullpen. All right, we're going to talk a lot about this game. I'd like to say, once again, sorry that it comes out so late. This is a very rare occasion that this is happening, and we'll be back to normal today/tonight. I'm recording this at 3:12 in the afternoon. The game starts in like an hour. But after that, we'll be back on the normal time schedule. This was a one-off thing. Anyway, back to the game. We'll start with pitching, because the best part of the night is pitching, and the worst part of the night is pitching. JP France, what a debut. I was genuinely blown away from this kid. He pitched great. Gave up a hit, a walk, and a hit batter in the first inning to load the bases with 2 outs. And you go, okay, this is not going to end well. You get a little bit concerned, but my God. Locked it down, gets out of the inning without allowing any runs. And from there on, there were a couple of blips on the radar. That was a gem. That was a great game. Not even great by the bell curve of a rookie making his debut. That was just a great game. 5 innings of work, no runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, 5 hard hit balls, right in that little area where you like it to be, about 1 per inning. Only gave up 3 hits and got 13 swings and misses against a good Seattle Mariners team. Don't let the record fool you. They are a good Seattle Mariners team. He was fantastic. I was flabbergasted with JP France in this game. Also, I know it's jumping the gun because it was 1 game. He is your 4th starter until further notice right now. You are too injured to debate me on that. He's my 4th starter. And hey, we still have a couple of good pitchers to get through. Phil Maton pitched an inning, and he did really well. He picked up a pair of strikeouts in his 6th inning of work. It was good. 3 swings and misses. Didn't give up any walks. That's all Nito Spagito. And Hector Neris looked pretty solid. I mean, gave up a couple of base runners with a hit and a walk. But hey, got a strikeout. Got through without allowing any runs. What happened in the 8th? Montero gets Ty France and Jared Kelenic out. Ground out and strikeout respectively. And you think, all right, perfect. You just got you got 1 more out and you're through the inning. 1 more out and you're through the inning. 1 more out and you're through the inning. That's not what happened. Eugenio Suarez walks. That's fine. It's fine. This is 1 runner. You have 3 run lead. Then Cal Raleigh singles. And you think, okay, that's unfortunate. You know, you have 2 outs in the inning. Be nice to just slam the door shut, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Then Teoscar Hernandez singles. And you think, oh, okay, bases are now loaded. That's not ideal. JP Crawford. Base clearing double to make it 3-3. And you go, okay, that's extraordinarily not good. And then Stenick comes in place of Montero, who had the wheels completely fall off the game. And then Tyler Trammell walks after Stenick enters. And that's when, like, you kind of already had that feeling with the base clearing double to tie it, that, like, we're not gonna win this game. You kind of had that thought in your head then. The Trammell walk was, you're like, oh, okay, they're going to run up the score in the 8th inning alone. And they would. That was fun. After that, Jose Cabrillo doubles. It's 5-0 or 5-3. 5-3. Julio Rodriguez with a single. 6-3. Ty France singles. But hey, no runs scored on that. So you got that. And then Jared Kelenic with another single to make it 7-3. Mariners. Montero got tagged with 4 earned runs in 2/3 of an inning, and Stenick got tagged with 3 in 1. Disaster. Dumpster fire of the back end of the bullpen. And I understand ERA is not everything for relievers, because you have 1 terrible game or 2 terrible games, and your season ERA is over 4, right? That's just how it works, because you pitch such small increments at a time. Right? A heavy load reliever is going to pitch 70 innings. And that's if you work them like a horse. They're going to pitch 70. And ERA is not everything to them. And so I'm not panicking over Stenick and Montero for their ERA. I'm panicking over all the peripheral numbers. I'm panicking that the hard hit's gone up. I'm panicking that the whiff's gone down. I'm not looking at ERA. I'm looking at everything else about these players that has gotten worse from last year. And even if you want to just ignore, which, side note, I think it's funny that a lot of the older talking heads will, say that, oh, advanced statistics are stupid when you're talking about why a hitter is good or not, or why a starting pitcher is bad. And then you get into, relievers, and it's, oh, well, their ERA is terrible. Well, you can't judge a reliever simply by ERA. Grr, clouds are in my yard. Get off my lawn, you darn kids. That kind of thing. And I don't, again, ERA is not everything with relievers. I understand that. Both of them over 5 looks bad. Both of them over 5 looks real bad. You just paid Montero $10 million a year, and I defended that contract to no end, and I still think there is upside to it. We know he can be a very good reliever. But by God, you cannot get paid $11 million per season, 33 over 3, and come in and have an over 5 ERA in your first year. And not just that, but have such bad peripheral numbers. Stenick just set the franchise record for ERA in a season, and he has been a trash can lit on fire this season. I really like Ryan Stenick. I hope he comes out of it, because I'd like to have him on this team for years to come. Super cool dude. Seems super chill. I really, really like Ryan Stenick, but by God, he has not been good this year. As for the offense, Mauricio Dubon was great. Another multi-hit night. My God, is he just taken over that top spot in relief of Altuve, who, by the way, yesterday took batting practice, and he was hitting bombs, and I am, please, God, give him back to us soon. I need Altuve back in my life. I need him back bad. Yordan Alvarez with a tatter RBI double. That was cool. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. Tucker with the single and an RBI on a sac fly. That was a good night for him. Jeremy Pena, man. Low key. Jeremy Pena's come alive the past few weeks. And if he hits the way he has recently, he's going to be fantastic for the rest of the way. I've been very impressed with what I've seen from Jeremy Pena. 3 hits, 2 of them extra bases, both doubles. He looked really good tonight, or last night. Jake Myers had a pair of hits, both doubles, and again, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I will be critical of a player when it is necessary, and I will also praise them when they do good. He has had a couple of solid games recently. He's really started to pick himself back out, and all things depending, the Astros have so much talent in that outfield. I don't know where you put him, but last couple weeks, I'm not quite sure I'd say he's played himself to the point where you say we have to put him somewhere, but he has been solid. I still want McCormick back as the starting center fielder when he's back and healthy, which should be against Anaheim at some point. Same with Michael Brantley, which I'm super excited about. Also, side note on the Michael Brantley thing, quite passive-aggressive that the Astros had Brantley taking some outs and fielding at first base for AAA. It's a thought that you kind of have to have, and it's a discussion that you might have to have, but that is for a different video. I want to quickly get into the ruling of the play last night at the plate, and then I want to talk about the difference between this team and last year's team / the past 6 years. Briefly on the play last night at home plate. They ruled that Tom Murphy was in the running lane and Dubon had nowhere to go, and so he was declared safe at home plate. I disagreed with that call. I thought it was the correct call to put him out. I don't know where you would want Tom Murphy to go if it wasn't where he was. He was blocking the plate because that's where the ball came from. I also don't love that Mauricio Dubon basically just had to give up on the play because of where he was positioned and where the ball placement was. I think baseball might have to change that rule a little bit, because now if I'm a catcher or if I'm an outfielder, if I'm a manager, I tell the left fielder, every time, I don't care where you're putting it, just make it somewhere along the third base line and make him in the way of the plate. Because if that's where the ball is taking him, then he's going to be out. Because the runner can go nowhere. Can't get out of the base path, it's an automatic out. I understand that rule was put in place to make catchers more safe and to avoid collisions. And I like that rule. I think that was the right thing. That being said, last night kind of put on display that it's a flawed rule. And again, even when they said that he was safe at home plate, I was like, that seems wrong. That's where the ball took him. I just feel with the ruling last night that sets it up to be manipulated. I think it was convoluted, but I still in my heart of hearts, it was clearly not intentional that they let him over the plate. They were trying to get the ball in, and that's where it took him. Tom Murphy made the right choice to stand where he did. That was where the ball was leading him. There was no team was in the wrong there, not on the Astros, not on the Mariners. The rule is unfortunate and I think is somewhat flawed. But I think the call was right. Side note, I love that we have to just be like, I think the call was right. Who's to say? But how I want to end this video is on a topic that a lot of people have been discussing, which is how this team is different than last year or the year before that or any of the past 6 years as they've become a dynasty. And I think I've figured it out. This team is just not opportunistic at all. Not whatsoever. They are given games that are incredibly winnable, and they aren't winning them. Games that in previous seasons, the team has found ways to win. This group has not to this point of the season. I'm going to throw it back, way back, 2021. Kent Emmanuel's first start. Now, I know that game ended like 16-2. That's not lost on me. But that was a game where Jake Odorizzi, who at the time I believe was coming off of a couple of good starts, and was somehow, some way in 2021, one of the main starters in that rotation for the Houston Astros. It was not a fun time for the starting rotation, I'd like to remind you all. And he goes down with an injury after getting one out, and Kent Emmanuel comes in. And you're thinking, all right, this is the debut of this guy who's missed a lot of time with different suspensions, this, that, and the other. You don't know how long you're going to get for him. The Astros offense found a way to run the score up, kill the Angels in that game, and let Kent Emmanuel, again, in his debut, go 8 2/3, complete the game after the first out. Basically a complete game for the Astros, only allowing 2 runs. Very solid start. Very solid game for Kent Emmanuel. But they allowed, in that game, the bullpen to rest. They managed to milk him for everything he had, and they won that game. They had an opportunity presented before them, and they seized it. This team, to this point, has not been opportunistic. JP France gives you 5 shutout innings in Seattle against a playoff team. You gotta win that game. There's been games the past few times. I want to say it was a couple against the Giants. Let me find the exact scores. The 2-0 loss to the Giants. Got to find a way to win that game. I believe it was the 4-2 loss was the one that Fromber started. It was the one. That was your ace giving you a really solid start. Got to find a way to win that. This team, to this point, I'm not saying they won't be. I'm not saying they're doomed. I'm not saying anything of that sort. But I'm saying to this point, this group has not been opportunistic, and that is why they find themselves straddling 500 so desperately. So the Astros will look to win the series in about 40 minutes. This might not actually be up before that game starts, which would be kind of funny if this comes out in like the first or second inning of the game today, but I'm going to try to do it as quickly as possible. If it's out beforehand, neato, and if it's not, I am sorry. But regardless, I'll be here to talk about that game afterwards. It starts at 4:10 Eastern, 3:10 Central, 3:30 Eastern as I finish recording this. The Astros are sending Brandon Bielak to the mound, God help us all, and the Mariners are sending Bryce Miller to the mound. I'll be here afterwards to talk about it, but as for right now, that is all I have to say. So if you enjoyed the video, please consider to like and subscribe. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day, and as always, go Astros.